Yeah, so I think the average single mother's holy trinity is 50 Shades of Grey, Ann Summers, Matt Rife. And we're live.
You are now listening to Radio Rufus.
Hello and welcome back to Radio Rufus, the dark web's favourite weekly serialised internet show. We've had some big changes since the last week. New trousers! Yeah, baby. Brand new trousers. But everything else has remained the same. We're still bringing you just the utmost quality of content from around the world this week. News, sports, games, tunes. We do it all. Though some of the scoops might not be quite as fresh as you'd imagined, because as always, we are wallowing like a couple of dusty pigs in the mud of this beautiful vintage 60s studio. As always, I'm joined by my producer, Aidan. Say hello, Aidan.
Hello.
Right, let's get into it with Not News, our first segment. Here are the headlines for this week. An American baseball team has been accused of fat-shaming a pig. The son of a Florida police deputy has been arrested following reports of selling his dead father's gun to a classmate. A UK minister has proclaimed that rough sleepers should not be arrested just for smelling. And a Canadian man who spent over $100,000 tattooing his entire body says that inside his arse was the most painful. Let's get into it then with our first story. An American baseball team accused of fat-shaming a pig. The St. Paul Saints, a Minnesota-based baseball team, has had fat-shaming allegations leveled at them following their decision to name their pig mascot Ozempic after the popular weight loss drug of a similar name. The team jokes that the pig was ashamed of gaining weight and promised to slim down. It hasn't gone down well with the tubbier members of the Saints fan base. As this is in America, I imagine there's a few.
Always.
All of them. I wouldn't make fun of people's weight and diabetics. It just feels a bit cruel. Maybe time for a marketing meeting to figure this out, y'all, said one reply on the team's Facebook page. That's a verbatim quote there. It's insensitive to people struggling with their weight, among other things, said another. Right. Let's start off by stating the obvious here. Pigs are fat.
Yeah.
All pigs are fat by design. They're all fat.
I don't feel like you can really fat shame. So I get people taking issue with it sometimes if maybe they think they have a case, if it's like someone that can't control it, but they've got this stage where they're getting offended on behalf of a fucking farm animal.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to take a wee look on Indeed and get a job or something.
It's like when people speak to their dogs in straight English.
Yeah.
It's like, the pig doesn't know about this. The pig's fine. You can say whatever you want to the pig. It does not have any concept of fat shaming at all. And also, pigs are supposed to be fat. I would imagine a pig would be thin shamed.
Yeah.
If you went around a farm and there was just a bunch of skinny pigs, you'd be like, something's going on here.
The skinny one's the one standing out.
Yeah, exactly.
They're literally all fed to get plump. So
that's the whole point. Pigs are supposed to be fat. So I don't think this is shaming at all, personally.
I do get with certain topics, you should ideally aim to punch up rather than down. But as a fat man, I know it's my fault that I am this way. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like certain things that people get the piss taken out of, whenever they can't control it, I can see why they could be offended. Like if it's something that they have no say in.
Yeah.
But I know that I am overweight because I like to eat more than I like to move.
Yeah.
If I wanted to change that, I could. I haven't.
Yeah.
But
right.
if people want to take the piss out of me for it, it's not as if it's something that I have no control over.
The team's manager has said he understands why some people got upset, but they had decided to stick with Ozempic as the name for the dutty swine. The pig mascot is a regular fixture at the team's ground, and he actually carries out the balls for the umpire, which in most sports they use a boy to do that. But I like that. I think that's ingenuity. Funny is something for the...
Just grab a pig.
Yeah, well, no one else... No, they're not going to watch it for the sport, are they?
No.
It's one of the most boring things I've ever seen in baseball. So it's good that they've got the pig. The pig actually becomes visibly larger during the season, and then they have to have a younger pig take over halfway through because it gets a bit fat.
So it's just naturally, as it's eaten throughout the season, getting bigger.
It seems like a quick turnaround, though.
Yeah.
What are they doing to this? That's it. They're feeding this pig up. They're not giving it Ozempic for sure.
They should be more worried about the baseball organization just sacking the pig as soon as it gains a few pounds, instead of people name it. What was it? Ozempic? Like, that's not that bad.
Also, it's just a shit pun.
Yeah.
It's not fat shaming, it's just a pun.
The fact that they said they chose this out of thousands of other suggestions, how bad were the other suggestions if this was the one that came out on top?
It reminds me they had a competition to name that boat. Do you remember that?
I don't.
2015, 2016-ish. They said, we've commissioned a new boat. It was a naval boat thing. And they were like, we're going to put it to the public. And given that we live in a nation where 9% of the population voted Jedi as their religion on the census for a laugh, right?
Yeah.
They selected, the most selected option was Boaty McBoatface. So HMS Boaty McBoatface.
And did that actually go through?
And the government said, no, we're not doing that. We're calling it David Attenborough instead. So it's the HMS Attenborough.
I would much rather Boaty McBoatface. Even if it is ridiculous, I'm a fan of democracy.
But I still think that shit as well. Like, surely you could come up with a better one than
just David Attenborough.
No, I think Boaty McBoatface is still shit.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
That's so boring.
But if that's a democratic vote, I think go for it. The people have spoken.
What about, like, the Arse Bandit? HMS Arse Bandit.
That's a nice ring to it.
I like something like that would be absolutely awesome. It's like when they had a competition to name the new flavour of Mountain Dew back in 2002, 2003. So I was really young when this happened. Safe to say I didn't vote in it. And you know what? Like, chronically online, sweaty, like, mum's basement dwelling, Dorito dust, finger, internet gaming nerds alike. Like, any opportunity to sort of grasp something.
Yeah.
They love it.
For it.
Yeah, go for it. So, like, I think it was an apple flavoured drink. And, like, the top suggestions was, like, Granny Gusher. Or, like, cum, just Mountain Dew cum.
Just come.
Yeah. There were some ridiculous suggestions, and in the end they called it something boring, obviously, because you can never trust the internet to do.
You need to realise that as soon as you open it up to the public, it's never going to go well. Yeah. Just sort these things out internally.
It's like when I get messages in, suggestions, and people being like, oh, can you say and spank in videos and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Which isn't funny.
If it's something that you come up with yourself, you might be like, you know what, maybe use this. But as soon as someone suggests something, you just feel dirty using it. You're like, right, well, this isn't my original content, even if it is funny.
Yeah.
But 90% of the time is shit.
Most of the time it's absolute dross that gets sent in, straight in the bin, not even worth a read through. Anyway, the St. Paul Saints, imaginative name, we're with you, I think. I think we support your decision to not rename the pig. We're in favour of mediocre punnage. You're the only baseball team I've ever supported. And congratulations. Let's move on to our next story. The son of a Florida police deputy, aged 10, has been arrested following reports of selling his dead father's gun to a classmate. The child agreed to exchange a handgun for the sum of $300 to a classmate at his elementary school. Authorities received the report of suspicious behaviour on campus and investigated, discovering ammunition in the backpack of the boy who purchased the gun. Fairly suspicious, I would say. They later found the gun itself hidden under a shed, along with 74 grams of marijuana.
It's a fucking lot of weed.
That's so much weed. Last Christmas, I went to a weed farm. Mm-hmm. That wasn't like my present or anything. I went to a weed farm. We have some friends and they own a weed farm in Canada. So legal weed. They sell it to the government.
Yeah.
And I don't think even there I saw 74 grams of weed.
That's a full patch.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Like this guy's like Pablo Escobar. He must be dealing. You can't smoke 74 grams of weed.
That is a fucking... You definitely have to be selling it. The fact that
that's like a joint a day for years.
Yeah,
that's
the fact
loads of
he's
weed.
already selling handguns at age 10, I wouldn't be surprised if he was trying to sell a bit of weed on the side. Can you imagine as well, making £300 at 10 years old? That makes you a fucking millionaire.
Yeah, I don't think this is brought up enough, the sort of time inflation of money. Because £5 when you're 10 is, what is that, $2,000? It's more, probably
Maybe
more.
4 to 5, I would say.
$5,000, yeah. So that's 1,000 times larger than it is. So for this, that is $300,000 equivalent that he's made there in a day.
Yeah. I remember my younger brothers, up until they were like maybe 5, they thought the amount of coins they had meant it was worth more. So my brother was like, no, that's
Right.
that's like seven monies. And I had like a £10 note, and he took the fucking 10p's over it just because it felt like more to him. That's exactly how it works, in my opinion. But $300 at that age, you just know he probably fucking spunked it in battle passes and stuff.
Oh, 100%.
But it's still good money to be making.
That is going straight to whatever Chinese corporation makes Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is FIFA points. It's just all it is FIFA points and stuff. And those TikTok live, like, roses and stuff that you can give to, like, Jason Nash. Yeah, brilliant stuff. Both boys have been in charge with extensive crimes, like possessing a handgun as a child. Apparently that's a crime in America. Surprised me, to be honest. Because there seems to be a lot of them with them.
Yeah.
Selling a gun. Yeah, loads of stuff. Lying to authorities, I think, is also in there. I think it's going to be a short trial, personally. I think this is pretty slam dunk, this one.
I have to admire the fucking brass balls he had to bring a handgun into school. Because, like,
Yeah,
whenever I was in, like,
crazy.
first, second, third year, The Walking Dead was, like, the big new series, and I sold seasons 1 to 3 of it in a memory pen. And even doing
nice.
that,
Yeah.
I was, like, looking over my shoulder thinking,
So were you a bit of an entrepreneur back
I was.
then?
I sold sweets, I sold Lucozades, I sold fucking
were that guy.
The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I give it to my friends, but if someone I didn't like, if you ever paid from Walking Dead from me, I thought you were a prick, basically. But I would just,
Right.
it was like a tenner ago, and I was still looking over my shoulder thinking like I was going to face justice over this.
Yeah.
So the fact that he can do it with a handgun and still be able to sleep at night, but I don't know, it's depressing because I don't think I'll ever make the same money again.
It would never get back. Because if you take into account time inflation as well.
Yeah.
Because how old are you? Like 12?
I was like 12, 13, I was
Yeah.
making like 50, 60 quid a day selling Lucozades
Yeah,
and shit.
That is crazy. That's at least a sort of 10 times multiplier.
Yeah, that's probably a 50 grand salary.
50 grand salary, yeah.
I found like just one patch of near the junior cloakroom that didn't have a camera, and I just used to stand there at break and dinner time and open up the blazer. Or I would do the odd like on the move transaction where, you know, whenever you rip the back of your blazer, I'd like slide it out through the wee slit.
Yeah.
I was a fucking rude boy at selling Frutella and whatnot.
I was just going to say, it's crazy how cheaply you can live when you don't have to pay for like Plan B and Jaeger bombs and stuff.
Is Plan B a regular expense of yours? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it still, how much is it now?
I haven't got a clue.
Just don't be paying for it then.
Well, I just whack it on business.
You're taxing it.
Yeah. Because as you know, I've made the transition now from having... I don't have casual sex anymore.
Right.
I have business casual sex. And what I mean by that is I'm shagging to further my career
Yeah.
rather than on just a casual basis.
Is that how you got this podcast?
Yeah. I sucked Prod's cock. That's why he was so friendly to me in the office today.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him for a while and he was looking for a blow.
There's time in between this recording and his next one if you just want to, you know, relive the old romance.
Oh, it's already in the diary, mate. We've got to wrap this up in half an hour.
It's in the studio's Google Calendar.
Wait, if you were doing a deal like this at your school, so I did an illicit deal once at school where I bought a bottle of vodka off a bloke. Yeah, I know, crazy times. And then I kept it in my locker, and occasionally, if I was feeling super zany, I might have a shot before economics.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You sort of very carefully toe the line there by being that like cool lad that everyone's like, oh, he drinks, and being the weirdo that's like bringing whiskey to school.
See, we didn't have any people like that in my school because it was, you know.
You were that like rogue individual.
Yeah, but I would like to picture myself as a sort of like cool, like lovable, like rogue.
Yeah.
Like,
Were you your school's bad boy?
no.
No.
Our school, in Singapore, there aren't bad boys really because they just get the death sentence.
Our school never had anyone selling guns or anything, but
Yeah.
there was some fucker in like third year that made a list of all the people he wanted to kill in our year and like
That's
passed it
crazy.
around the school. Like just anyone he wanted to fucking smite
I've
for
heard
whatever reason.
I've heard of girls making like lists of people they
Want
fancy.
to shag?
Yeah,
No, this fucker was just a list of people he wanted to stab.
it's age of 10 as well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about what I was doing at school at the age of 10. It was mostly Minecraft, really.
Yeah, same. This fellow, it was probably like 13. I don't think I think he was just listening to like a lot of My Chemical Romance at the time.
Yeah.
He didn't have a great support system, and it just kind of got them.
Yeah.
He just started listing off people he wanted to fucking kill. But thankfully, nothing ever came from it. But there's definitely never anyone selling fucking weed. Well, maybe weed, but definitely not guns.
No, guns is mental.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Singapore was such sort of a restrictive country and they were so tight on the legislation, chewing gum is illegal there. Do you not know about this?
That's mental.
Yeah, so chewing gum's illegal there. You can't buy it and you can't bring it in. Because they don't want like chewing gum spat on the pavement and stuff.
Yeah.
Looking disgusting. So if you manage to smuggle some in through the airport, people will bring that into school and be like, it's chewing gum. I've got chewing gum. Like it's black tar heroin.
So Singapore has like a more strict chewing gum policy than America has gun policy.
Oh yeah, way more strict.
That's mental.
Their chewing gum policy is stricter than our gun policy.
Literally just because they don't want it messing up the streets and stuff like that.
It's the same amount of legality to chew gum in Singapore as to like shag your dog here. As in, they're both illegal and frowned upon. Right, our next story then. A UK minister has proclaimed that rough sleepers should not be arrested just if they smell. Tory MP Gillian Keegan came out with a devastating quote as she joined a growing rebellion within the Conservative Party against forthcoming plans to criminalise homelessness. The legislation plans to give police powers to fine or move along homeless people causing a nuisance, which includes people generating excessive noise or unpleasant smells. That's actually in the legislation. These plans were put into motion by your friend of mine, Suella Braverman. Back when she was the Home Secretary, she made her views on the matter crystal clear when she posted on X her plans to crack down on the pitching of tents in urban areas, which she largely blamed on individuals, quote, from abroad. The Home Secretary wrote, "We cannot allow our streets to be taken over by rows of tents occupied by people, many of them from abroad, living on the streets as a lifestyle choice."
Calling it a lifestyle choice is fucking mental.
You could, yeah. I mean, you can tell there's a few clues in here. You can tell that Suella does not live anywhere with any crackheads around. Firstly, saying they're from abroad is crazy. They are not from abroad, bro. They are from down the road.
100%. There's a fella near my train station that he has a tent round the front of the station for like nighttime, and then he's got like a mattress at the side that he sits on during the day. That's basically a 2-bedroom flat as far as London living standards go.
Mate, he's basically got an office. That's better set up than I got. I work from home. I would love to have a separate office space, and this guy's rocking it.
You can see if you rent it out, maybe, if you're ever in that area.
Yeah, if I do happen to swing by.
But he is fully like 100% Cockney English, man. He's not...
They're all English, so don't know what she's waffling about. Suella, you're from abroad. Yeah, you are. These guys aren't, man. Also, in the legislation, it plans to give the police the ability to fine these people. No point in fining them.
What the fuck are they going to give you?
Big flaw with that. What do you want? 10p and some foil. That's literally all they've got.
Just whatever meal deal has been dropped off beside them that morning.
Yeah. Half an egg and cress.
One thing that I thought was completely like mental was I saw a homeless person a while ago with a card reader.
Yeah.
You know the classic, like, oh, sorry, I don't have any change, and he whips out a fucking thing from around his neck.
Yeah.
You have to applaud the entrepreneurship of that, but it's still a bit fucked up.
I'm surprised he has all the sort of infrastructure behind that to make that work. Like, has he set up a business bank account? Has he got an accountant? You know, he does. Yeah. You can't just get the card reader and then it's sorted.
It's people that like that makes you think it's a scam. That ruins it for the people that maybe actually are
the pros.
Bother. Yeah.
The pros. My dad said you can always tell who's a legit homeless because they want food. The rest of them just want drugs.
Yeah. There used to be, I worked in like the dodgiest fucking Tesco in Belfast, and it was just a real rough area that had a pile of like lost help flats and stuff behind it.
Yeah.
And people would get meal deals bought for them and come in and try and exchange the meal deal for cash. I was like, you can't fucking do that. Or they'd come up.
It's a one-way street, mate. Sorry. No turn down here.
They'd empty out like their pockets to pay for something. Maybe it'd be something like £4 and it'd just be all change and there'd be blood over it. Someone emptied out his pockets and there's a bag of cocaine we had a designated drug bin in that Tesco.
Yeah.
Under the sink in the staff room that I think a few people might have stole from it.
Yeah.
But it was just stuff that was found out the back, stuff that was found in the shop. There was a bag of ketamine found in a pack of salmon that someone must have just dropped into the fridge.
Yeah.
It was a fucking shithole. You go back out the like back entrance whenever you finish your shift, and there's a 50-50 chance that there would be someone injecting something like sitting just in the alleyway. Someone that had a wheelchair beside them and they were lying beside the wheelchair injecting into their fucking ass. And it's just so normal to me at that stage that I was just like, it's just Tesco.
In Singapore, what they do is it's illegal to be homeless, so you pull up a van. Like if there was a homeless person, you'll never see one, but if there was, a government van would pull up, they'd be whacked in there, and then just sort of you'll never see them again. I'm not saying I don't know what happens to them.
Do you not think, especially the ones that kind of have run-ins with the law anyway, in that area I was in Belfast, they were constantly in bother with the police, a lot of them, like the ones that were slightly more drug addicted.
Yeah.
Would it not be a better life at times to just go to prison? Because you have a roof over your head, you get food every day. If you're going to be...
Just commit a proper crime.
Yeah, do something that's going to get you a wee fucking two-stretch and get in the straight and narrow, maybe hit the gym, get a roof over your head for a while, bulk up a bit, and then you'd be a new man.
Yeah, good call. So if you're watching and you're homeless, just go to prison. That's a Radio Rufus top tip. On to our next story. A Canadian man who spent over $100,000 tattooing his entire body says that inside his bum was the most painful. Remy from Quebec began his tattooing journey 15 years ago when he had his son's name written in script. This began what can only be described as an uninhibited and accelerating addiction, really. Since then, he's gone on to cover almost his entire body. His skin is now almost completely composed of ink. The only places I haven't tattooed are most of my face, ears, soles of my feet, and parts of my palm, he explained. This has to be bad for you.
Of course his name is Remy, by the way.
Yeah,
that's the fucking French at it again.
Yeah. The French Canadians come up a lot on this podcast.
They do.
And I've been there a few times, French Canada. They're weird.
It sounds like we have a real agenda against them, but they just keep coming up in the fucked up stories.
I sort of do, though.
You do?
Yeah. I didn't enjoy going there all that much.
Yeah.
Because let's not forget that English is an official language of Canada. But if you spoke English to them there, they look at you like a subhuman. They really, really would. Although I went to Sweden last week and it was sort of the same.
They weren't a fan of the thing.
And they all speak amazing English. But they're not a fan of people who don't speak Swedish. Really.
Yeah.
Here, they absolutely... You walk into a restaurant in Quebec and they're like... It's not even worth their time. Very, very rude. Yeah.
I will say this about your fella Remy. He has the look of a person who enjoyed every second of that bumhole tattoo. Do you know what I mean? Like, he just has that look to him.
I think that's his thing.
Yeah, especially, it was the hairstyle that done it for me.
Yeah? Can we get a picture up? Holy shit. He looks like the guy from 21 Pilots.
You see what I'm getting?
But, like, way worse.
Yeah. It seems like, yeah...
Bro, look at the legs, man.
Is he wearing fucking leather jeans?
That's just camo. He's just blending in with the environment. That's
at what
crazy.
Point, if he covered here, would that be okay? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like, is it even okay that the rest of his body is this color?
For the listener, he's referring to the face and potentially some racial aggravation if he was to tattoo the whole thing. Yeah, I mean, it's not a great look.
You can't tell me this fucker isn't into that pain. Yeah, just the look of him. Anyone that has this many tattoos and
I reckon he goes down to the parlour once a week and asks them to tattoo his rim. Just keeps getting it done in
just
different
need
colours.
A top up.
Yeah, exactly.
That one's
the piercings are interesting as well.
That's just too much. That's fucking mental.
It's like a piece of Swiss cheese. There's so many holes in him. It's crazy. And I was going to say, can you shag the holes? But I don't think I will. I don't think I even want to know.
You could maybe do the ear holes, but that's probably the only hole.
Which of his piercings do you like the least?
These ear ones.
What, the ear expand?
The ones that fucking... you could fit a fucking football through
That's
them.
a weird look. Look, if you're not a tribesman, don't do that.
Yeah.
If it's not heritage, It's just weird.
And do you ever see whenever they actually take them out and it just be so stretchy and dangly?
Yeah.
Properly rank.
I always thought it'd be quite funny to have sort of the sun tattooed on your ass, radiating outwards.
See,
like the Macedonian flag.
that's comedic. I can see the reasoning for that.
That's
but this
funny.
fella is just dyeing it a darker shade.
If I was to get a tattoo, I know I would never get a tattoo for multiple reasons. But if I was to get one, I think I'd have to go cock tat.
Do you reckon?
Straight up. I think I'm not a fan of doing things by halves. I think go hard or go home, really.
Anything in particular on the
In this
cock
case,
you go for?
get hard or go home.
That's a... So, if you're getting a tattoo on the shaft,
Yeah.
do you have to be erect? Or do you do it when it's
It's
gonna
gonna
stretch?
look wrong either way.
Yeah. Unless you just...
Unless you get sort of a flaccid one and then fill the bits in.
Yeah. Or you could have it, like, you know, whenever you have something and then you do that and it shows a different picture,
Yes.
it becomes something else.
It's like a pop-up.
It's like the evolution of a Pokemon.
Yes,
It just
exactly.
changes as you grow. That's actually a
So to speak.
great analogy.
Yeah. It's an awesome analogy. Yeah, I think I might get a pattern.
Yeah.
You know that sort of tower thing they have outside a barber shop that spins round?
Yeah, that'd
Little
be pretty
candy
cool.
cane action on the shaft. I think I'd go for something like that rather than a picture of something. I go for something geometric and like a nice little design.
That's a safe shout.
Yeah, because I feel like hard to cock that up, and also funny calling it your own cock, the cane, which I would love to do.
You just tattoo a condom on.
Oh yeah, that would be good. And then when I shag girls, I'll be like, look, sorted. I'd be like, oh yeah, wow. How would you even that's such a shit suggestion. How would you even tack that on? Surely it would just be like the sort of rubber ring at the bottom. How are you
bits of, like,
are you
shine.
tattooing something clear? Something we really haven't touched on. What a waste of fucking money. 100
was
grand.
100 grand.
$100,000, I think. 75 grand.
How much of that was spent on the rectum, do you reckon?
Yeah, most of it. I don't think tattoos cost that much.
Nah.
Like, if you just want to fill it in.
Yeah, that's a fucking lot of ink. Like the amount of ink used for the black for his arms and stuff, but still, you just look like a mentalist.
Wait, let's have a look. Mate, and obviously the tattoos are hideously distasteful and really bad to look at as
Whatever
well.
happened to just wearing a t-shirt?
Yeah.
You can get that design on a t-shirt if you really wanted. Go on to Etsy.
Yeah.
You're not spending fucking 100 grand.
This guy needs to hear a spreadshirt. Yeah, absolutely hate it. He looks like sort of the sidekick to the main villain in an Avengers film.
Do you think you could ever even, without... Obviously, whenever it's down there and you're about to get it done, you're going to be overthinking it and stuff, but do you think your body could sit and take a needle going towards your fucking asshole, or would you just...
I've taken a hose up my ass before. I'm not proud of it, but it has happened in a hospital in Thailand.
What was that for?
A medical procedure.
Right, okay. I thought it was just like the lads having a bit of crack.
Yeah.
But
It was in a back alley.
during that
Bangkok.
procedure,
So to speak.
trying to get near my asshole with a tattoo gun would require the same precision involved in trying to get a football out of a hedge. You know, whenever you're just going in and you're trying to like avoid
Yeah.
it, and you
Yeah,
finally
yeah.
get to the spot and you're like, oh yes, you get the fucking Sandigo football back out.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have this. That, amongst other reasons.
And what a fantastic conclusion to that story. Now we move on to Snatch of the Day. This is our sports segment, and it's a race this time. Hospitality staff have raced through the streets of Paris for the first time in 13 years as part of festivities ahead of the Olympics. Interesting stuff. The Course des Cafés is a 110-year-old event, first held in 1914. Although I feel like the French were a bit busy in that year, but moving on. No wonder it took 4 years to win. Competitors from all of Paris's rudest cafes and bistros lined up at the start line on Sunday. Here's how it works. It's a 2-kilometre course, and the goal is to balance a tray with a croissant, coffee cup, and glass of water. And you've got to get it over 2 kilometres. It's a race. There's around 200 participants who are genuine, baristas, servers, dressed in uniform. They load up their trays with a, quote, regulation pastry, which, what the fuck is that? How do you define a regulation pastry?
Just a certain weight of a croissant or something.
I guess so. Is it one of those, like, they all have to be the same?
Yeah, I
Otherwise,
suppose.
cheat. What if I hollowed out my croissant? I'm a bit lighter. I'm cheating. It also comes with a small but empty coffee cup. Why is it empty? And a full glass of water, which is just a weird choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the race, they're judged on both how much liquid they spilt, as well as the time.
Yeah.
Which I want to say, that's a terrible scoring system. How are you supposed to work that out? What if I was really quick, but I fucking broke the glass?
Yeah.
What if I just actually sprinted it?
There should be disqualification over a certain amount of spillage, or if anything breaks.
Yeah. Also, I feel like this is too easy to carry on a tray. It's only 3 small things.
Yeah.
I want to see them get a whole, like, sort of baked Alaska out.
Yeah, like a full round of coffee orders or something.
Yeah.
And the actual pressure of having to deliver it to a table.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Whereas it's low stakes, I feel like, this.
This is what's going on whenever you're waiting 40 minutes for a fucking mug of tea in a cafe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never been to France, so I can't speak.
Horrendous customer service in Paris.
I was going to say I can't speak to the manners of your average waiter out there, but I know if I was in a cafe waiting on my breakfast.
You'd be fuming if you turned up at Cafe Nero last Sunday. the ages till you got served, and they don't have a brilliant reputation as it stands. But yeah, I think to improve this sport, I'd like to see them carry something where if you properly fell over and landed on your tray, it would be like a proper day ruiner.
Yeah.
Like a big sort of ridiculous cherry pie or something.
Something really comedic.
Yeah, a couple of those disgusting Starbucks coffees that are full of shit.
Like a pumpkin spice latte or something.
Yeah, PSL.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to see them carry some... What other stuff is French? Maybe a whole coq au vin?
Just something, everything needs to be really fucking hot as well.
Yeah, really hot, like burning your hand through the tray. It's really, really heavy. And then maybe we can talk about this sport being a proper event. But at the moment, subpar, I think.
Yeah. They say as well that it's in preparation to host the Olympics in the summer. I think maybe worry a bit less about hosting a sports day and a bit more about your national security.
That's true. I was going to say I was surprised there weren't any incidents at this event after the leaks. Because this is genuinely, they were running around City Hall. That's exactly where the security leaks came from that we reported about all the way back in episode 2. Long-time listeners will remember that. It says here, French waiters and waitresses can sometimes have a reputation for being abrupt and even moody. Which, no, I've never heard of that. This guy with the most French-sounding name, Thierry Petit, 60 years old, who's retiring next month after 4 decades in the profession, said, quote, French pride means that even in little professions like this, they don't want to be trampled on. That's a rare glimpse of self-awareness from a French person there.
Yeah. I will never trust another Thierry again after that handball against Ireland.
Yeah. Cheap.
So there's just tarred by the same brush.
Also, you can't trust a man who's done 40 years waiting tables. Because that is a man with poor decision-making skills. Because that stuff, I quit after 9 months. It ruined me. That's the worst job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A pretty unforgiving career path.
This reminds me of an egg and spoon race. Basically the same.
I would argue that there's more fucking stake at an egg and spoon race. You've got like 8-year-old pride. If you win that, you are the shit in your primary school class.
My parents weren't like this, but there were some like competitive parents.
Yeah.
Who even want their kids to win the fucking egg and spoon race at the school fete. Like, sorry mate, those medals they give out are not worth anything. Sorry. You know, they line up down the 100 meters and like scream at their child. And if their child was losing, they were like shouting encouragement for their fat kid to try and win the 100 meters.
Thank fuck my parents were never like that.
Yeah.
It was always like the wee skinny runt children got great like luck in the racing events.
Yeah.
It was always a fat child that won the like shot put or the.
I think you have to be fat to win the shot put.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not even possible. The gods just don't allow it. Moving on then to Drizzle Kicks, our weather segment, and it's bad news for all my Poles out there, as the Eastern European nation is experiencing a fast-growing and seemingly unstoppable epidemic in the form of a new natural disaster. They've invented a new one. We've heard of volcanoes, earthquakes, hurricanes. That's regular stuff now. That's boring. Put it in the past. But now, southern Poles are having to contend with trees. 5 people have been crushed by falling trunks after winds hit a hasty 96 miles an hour in the highest reaches of the Tatra Mountains on Monday. 96 miles an hour is insane. I genuinely didn't know that winds could travel that fast on Earth.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
That's like fucking Neptune, bro. That's like the outer reaches of the solar system where the winds go that fast. 96 miles an hour. That's crazy.
Taking out 5 people with it as well. That's a fucking Predator missile kill streak.
Yeah. Godlike. That is like, it's 5 individual trees as well. So they're knocking over, they must be making, there's loads and loads of trees which don't kill anybody. So they must be knocking over whole forests at the moment. It's crazy. I can't possibly imagine wind ripping a tree out of the ground.
You see the odd time over here, like maybe a branch or something, but a full fucking tree to be uprooted from the ground that's been there hundreds of years, that is some fucking wind.
Have you ever tried cycling into a headwind?
I don't think so, no.
No.
I'm intrigued though.
It doesn't help you. I think 96 miles an hour would be a bit tough to go against. I went mountaineering once, climbing up a mountain, and we had to abort because the winds were so strong. Because it was gusting. It wasn't 96 miles an hour. It was like sort of 40 miles an hour, I think.
Probably fucking hard enough to walk up.
And then we had a gust, and I was actually just knocked to the floor at that. So I've experienced strong wind, but it's not even half as fast as 96 miles an hour. I thought, that's like, how fast is the Earth rotating to generate that sort of speed? Can you look up how the fastest wind of all time?
What?
No fucking way it's 254 miles an hour.
That is mental.
Oh, it's a hurricane though.
That's kind of cheating.
Yeah, that feels...
We're not going to allow that.
Feels ineligible, bro. Of course, in a twister, it's going to go quickly.
Yeah, still coming up.
Yeah, Tropical Cyclone Olivia. 1996.
It's always these fucking tropical cyclones.
Hey, we have to contend with them all the time. I'm really glad we don't live anywhere tropical. Do they have non-tropical cyclones? I think all the cyclones I've ever heard of are tropical.
Yeah, let me Google that too.
Yeah, cool. Have to say also, I'm really glad I'm not Polish.
Just generally, or because of this?
Yeah, I thought knife crime and like a shared border with Ukraine was the worst things they had to deal with, but now they've got 100-mile-an-hour winds.
Back in Ireland, anytime there was like a bit of, it got really windy at times, and you'd always have to go down and like weigh down your trampoline and your bins and stuff.
Yeah.
The amount of times someone's trampoline ended up in our garden was fucking mental, but it never got anywhere near 94 miles an hour.
No.
That is absolutely crazy.
So the highest wind speed is 207 miles an hour. Did I see that right? Outside of a storm. Which, I mean...
That would just lift you.
Wouldn't that just like... Wouldn't that just take your house away? Like, I know our houses here are made out of bricks and stuff, so they'd be alright. But a lot of countries, they literally make the houses out of
Lollipop
plaster.
sticks.
Yeah.
If this was America, the houses would be fucking soaring through the sky.
They're always talking, they're always complaining, Americans, when they get hit by a massive hurricane about all the damage. You know, it's always in the news, $15 billion worth of damage. Mate, maybe build your house out of something better next time, and it won't be blown down like that thing from the Three Little Pigs.
You try and build a house out of fucking supplies you get from an art and crafts shop. That's gonna be the effect whenever a hurricane comes.
Yeah, so to everyone who was in Hurricane Katrina, chat shit, get banged, I think. Right, now, moving on to our game segment, Gamey Schumer coming at you now. And today, we're continuing the tradition of playing games that are inappropriate, both for the space and the audio format. Because we're playing dodgeball today, so this is going to be interesting for the listeners. Let's get into it then. We haven't formalised the rule set.
We haven't. I think Matt throws it in the air in between us.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Hello and welcome editor Matt to the podcast, everybody. He's going to be the ball boy for today.
Ready? 3, 2...
No way!
Yes! I'm gonna do a fucking bank shot.
Am I still in this?
I think...
Right, we do best of 3.
Oh, we're not doing best of 3, surely.
Right.
I'm really against best of 3.
Just call it a day.
I'm really
You've
against...
got to go at this point, yeah. Right, are we ready to? Yeah, that's strong. That's strong. It's got to be 1-1.
That's 1-1.
It's got to be 1-1.
That's 1-1.
Yeah,
It's 1-1. Right, everything to play for.
Right, I thought you were going to give us a
This really
countdown.
is it. Yeah. Oh, sorry, yeah, fine. 3, 2, 1. Oh, you've got to get the ground.
No way!
No,
I got it!
Let's go. We need to be here after this.
I got a full hand on it first.
Yeah.
This seems like it's all unfair. Oh my god,
I need to taste it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I am for a
2-1.
light one.
It's 2-1.
Again,
It's 2-1.
incredible.
You've got to respect the sport. You really do.
When we played Uppity Uppity Chocolate Orange, I got a message saying that was so bad for audio format. Please never do it again. So I hope you're listening, and I hope you enjoyed dodgeball. I'm gonna catch my breath after that one. Do you think people will worry about us when they see two men playing dodgeball in a radio set, one of them wearing a Rasta hat?
I think
I think without that, though, I wouldn't have even gotten a point. So I think it did help me.
yeah, true.
Sometimes, guys just got to be dudes.
Fully agree. Yes. Close my eyes.
Close your eyes.
Yes.
Welcome to Adventure Centre. Here you go.
May I open?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, baby.
Is this a cocktail?
It's an interesting mix.
Can I hear the ingredients of this mix? Because I know.
Calippo's definitely in there. You saw me buying them earlier, so there's
Yeah.
definitely a bit of Calippo.
Did you use all three Clippos?
Well, we'll see.
There's a paste at the top.
Yeah, there will be a film. I think that's natural. I want you to give it a big glug.
It's fucking egg.
No, there's no egg.
It's not.
I think there'd be more evidence of egg if
Yeah.
there was an egg in there. I do want you to give it a proper glug, though.
Is there alcohol?
No. This is a child-friendly drink. Anyone can enjoy this. Fun for all the family. Go on,
It's just an overwhelming smell of Clippos, so I'll give it a go.
Go on, have a sip.
You didn't jizz in it, did you? Because I'd be pretty offended.
No, there's only a trace amounts of jizz.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Why'd you spit back into it?
There was an instantly horrible taste to that.
Really? Oh, don't just... oh, that's great.
Why is it so thick?
It is a bad texture, I'll be honest.
That's the first Invention Centre I haven't enjoyed.
Yeah, that's crazy, that. I will now reveal the ingredients.
I have such a bad taste in my mouth. What the fuck is
Really?
that?
Ladies and gentlemen, this is psychological warfare that has been displayed here on an enormous level, because the ingredients of that is only Calippo.
Really?
It's only Calippo.
There is such a strange taste to that.
It's just Calippo.
I love Clippos too.
Yeah. So I thought I'd switch up the script and give you something that you would actually, I'd intended for you to like this time.
And I hated it.
And it's the only thing that you've not enjoyed. Even that disgusting tuna chocolate sandwich you loved.
If it had been chilled, but it's just the texture as well. It felt like there was glue in it or something.
Oh, is it gloopy?
It's really gloopy.
This is an interesting one. I wanted to conduct an experiment because I've always thought that the juice in a Calippo is the best part of it at the end of the what's that? At the end of the cone,
Yeah.
I guess. And I always enjoyed squeezing that bit out. So I thought, what if we let it all melt and just turned it into a drink? Turns out, it's not very good.
If it was chilled and it wasn't as sludgy, but
Yeah.
the texture definitely threw me off. But also that I have a really bad taste in my mouth.
Really?
Yeah, genuinely.
I'm actually distraught because I thought that was going to be awesome. Like, I genuinely thought we were going to fucking tuck into that.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
wish it didn't spit in,
thought we would
in
get-
retrospect.
Yeah, I thought we were going to go half-seas each. Everyone's going to love this. We're going to have a whale of a time. Because obviously, on a regular basis, we do things to ourselves on this show which we don't enjoy.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe for a change, we could have a nice time, do that. But it turns out that's the thing you've hated the most in the history of this show.
Yeah, it genuinely is.
And it's a melted Calippo.
It definitely. Taking the first sip, I was like, right, is there jizz in this? Is there eggs in this? What
Yeah.
the fuck has he done?
No jizz, no eggs. But I suspect there might be a little bit of leakage from the cardboard.
Mm,
That I left the Calippos on a hot shelf for a couple of hours.
that mightn't help things.
That is really interesting, though. So we've answered a question now. We had a hypothesis. My hypothesis was that the drink would be better than the lolly. And now we know 100% for certain the lolly is better than the drink. Would you
Yeah,
agree?
especially better than the fucking 4-hour shelf drink.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting a call. Here we go, then. Hello? Oh, it's your favourite. It's Aretha. I know you've had a sort of crush on her since your younger days. She's inappropriate because she's 20 years younger than you. Oh. Thank you. Okay, wonderful. Brilliant. Okay. Cheers. Wow. Just had something come in then. Down the line from our culture correspondent, Aretha Spanklin. This is today's news. Today, of course, being the 5th of October, 1962. A brand new film has hit the top of the box office charts this week and is on course to smash records. It's entitled... I thought it was Durno there for a second, but it's actually Dr. No. Dr. No.
You sure it's not Durno?
Could be Durno.
Yeah, I think it might be.
Be a weird name for... Like, what's a Durno, though?
I don't know. We're about to find out.
So, Dr. No, I think it's Dr. No. And apparently, it's an adaptation of a book by Ian Fleming, who I've never heard of. I don't really read much, though.
I'm not a fucking nerd.
Yeah, so, don't know what the fuck that is. Anyway, I'm told by Aretha, who did go to see it, there was the premiere yesterday. I'm told it's a run-of-the-mill spy thriller. Of course, there are already loads of films like that. So I'm comfortable predicting that this is going to be put among those and then sort of forgotten to time, really. The main character is an English agent called James Bond, and in an absolute masterstroke of casting, it's being played by a Scottish bloke with a lisp. What are they thinking?
So I've seen some clips from this film.
Yeah.
Not for a single second does his accent sound remotely English.
No?
Playing an English character and it's fucking Scottish the full way through.
Yeah.
I don't know whether this was his attempt at it. Maybe
Yeah,
this is
right.
his toned down Scottish accent. I also
It's
didn't
like
realise-
Braveheart in Jamaica, isn't it?
That's a fucking crossover I would definitely watch.
Jamaican Braveheart. We were
Or
not
Scottish
our
Cool
freedom.
Runnings.
Well, one way is. What's the quote from Braveheart?
They'll take our, but they'll never take our.
Yeah, what are the words?
Freedom!
They'll take our something.
I don't know the filler.
Well, one way is. They will never take our freedom.
That's all you need to know.
Nice. That would be awesome. I'd love
Scottish
that.
Cool Runnings would be pretty cool too.
Scottish Cool Runnings, yeah.
Yeah.
They're shit at bobsled, aren't they? The Scots.
So were the Jamaicans,
Yeah, that's true.
but
Be ideal.
it was still a great heartfelt film.
I feel like the Scots it'd be tough to find like enough Scottish people to fit in the bobsled. If you know what I mean.
There's a good amount of
They
them.
like
in
deep
Glasgow.
fried food. Yeah. They'd have a significant weight disadvantage.
Yeah.
The producers have come out and said they're already filming a sequel to be released next year. That's going to be called From Russia with Love. Which is probably one of the best. If you were sent something from Russia, that's one of the best things. It's what you would want.
Russia are known for their love, in fairness.
Yeah. Their togetherness. And peace and harmony as well. I hate that all films, it's becoming a thing now. You know, it's 62. It's becoming a thing. All these films are just bloody franchises.
Yeah.
They're all the same.
They can't just have a standalone film anymore.
No, absolutely not. I miss the old days. Obviously, Orson Welles has passed his prime. I think Hitchcock's falling off a bit. He's sort of washed, Hitchcock. They don't have sort of auteurs, you know. artists of cinema with visions making statements with films like The Blob 1958 and I Married a Witch 1942. That's the sort of films I grew up loving.
Great pictures.
Whereas now, all these films are the same. They're just going to do it off the next book and the next book and the next book. And eventually, they'll just be interchangeable and nobody will care. That people will lose interest in James Bond. James Bond, that's his name, James Bond.
Yeah. I have a clip for you.
Okay, cool.
Sean Connery that just got cast as James Bond.
Yeah.
Which is weird because this is like 10 years after the first film.
Okay, cool.
But
yeah.
if you want to stick the headphones on.
Will do, absolutely. So this is the actor who's just been cast to play James Bond speaking in an interview 20 years after he plays him in the film.
Something like that, yeah.
Okay, cool. That's an easy concept to wrap my head around.
Okay, so this is an interview where he's asked about previous comments he's made about women.
Ah.
I'm not mad. I don't like playing golf with women, no matter how good they are. I really don't.
Your wife plays golf.
She's a very good golfer, yeah.
You
But
don't
I
like to play with
very
her?
often with her, no.
Why not?
Because I don't like playing golf with women.
Why not?
I like the company of men better at golf.
Why?
It's very difficult to explain.
There's a lot of golf content in this.
It's more pleasurable playing golf with men than women.
Yeah.
Also, he also doesn't sound Scottish here.
No.
What the fuck accent is that?
It also doesn't look like Sean Connery. Like, it's just a weird all round. Wow, this chap seems like a stand-up bloke.
Sean Connery walked so the Tates could run
Oh,
with comments like this.
to be honest, I think all of society walked so that the Tates could. Did you see what they were doing back in the day?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to be accused of witchcraft in sort of the 1500s. Just say that.
I found it. I read recently, and whenever I say read, saw on TikTok that a lot of the like the witch trials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They were just off their tits because of what they're eating, like because they were eating stuff from forests and they were eating like.
Oh, they on magic mushrooms? Is that what you're saying?
Basically. So the visions that they were seeing or allegedly seeing, they thought it was fucking witchcraft, but realistically they were likely just off their tits.
That's crazy.
They were burnt at the stake for doing some magic mushrooms, basically.
Well, that is crazy because these days Suella Braverman would just tell them to go home.
We need to get Sue in the podcast.
It's just like a big multiverse in everything we've ever done. It's like Braverman starts tucking into the tuna brownie sandwiches. We just force her to do everything. Play Sodium Carousel with Braverman.
Throw the fucking dodgeball at her head.
Awesome. And now, as always, we come to the musical Serenade. This is if Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen was about having a mummy king. Peg me, but please go slow. The tug you gave before left my penis red and raw. Spank me with a cricket bat and put my balls into that vice again. Mummy, singe me with some wax, then credit card my crack with both your hands. Play along, punch my schlong till it's completely flattened. Cuff me like a criminal. Tie me to the couch. You do more reef knots than the Scouts. Bum me on a Tuesday night. I can't sit down at work on Wednesdays now. Mummy, like a dog. Put me on a lead and stroke me while you crank my hog. 9 out of 10. Thank you, Craig. We'll take that back to you in the studio.